I'm finally free! Sorry. Hi! Did you like that intro? Me eating lunch? Uh, it's sketchbook tour time! What happened? Um, yeah, it's finally sketchbook tour time. I have two. Initially I wanted to have, a sketchbook that I just went through, like, the entire beginning of the year, but then this one, the vibes were off. I can't, and also my cat decided to eat like, the bookmark parts, because he does that sometimes. I am finally free. Um, but yeah, let's begin with this one. It's pretty short. So I mean, there's not a lot. I keep using the D&D thing because I like it. Um, but yeah, this is my cat. Hi, boy. Yeah, this is when I started this one, I was doing, if you've seen earlier sketchbook tours, Owen and Warwick, which is one of the stories that I have that is like a detective agency, but with Swedish and Scottish folklore. Because I find that stuff cool. They are getting redesigns though, because I have a thing. Yeah, if you go onto my channel, you'll find the character archive, where I'm gonna be going through all my characters, and that means Owen is getting a bit of a redesign. But yeah, this sketchbook, I've really gotten into scrapbooking, and that's gonna be even more visible in, like, the latest sketchbook. Hello, child. But yeah, just didn't know. I didn't like his eyes, so I tore it out, and then I tore him in half, and then I glued embroidery thread between his eyes. I don't know. It was fun. Paint markers, Artex ones, and yeah, I was just keep on doing, little environmental stuff. That's something that happened in school. We have a movie theater in Jesus, in my school, because I am a film student. As I've said many times, I keep saying that every single video. Oh, I'm a film student. But yeah, we have a movie theater, a tiny one that we have lectures in. And then Colton, everybody's favorite boy. More Colton, everybody's favorite boy, obviously. Yeah, this was when I first started testosterone, so November 27th. This is from November 27th because I remember the date, because that was the day that I got my first injection. I am now 5 months on the liquid. So, yeah, more environment stuff. I really like these. I need to do more of these, but I keep forgetting to, and I just draw boys. I don't know why this spread is upside down. I felt like it. It was just this is an old character. This was like his original design, and then I decided to like rework it a little bit. Um, an old D&D character. I kind of want to like rework it again because I don't really like it. I like his face a lot. I like the scales. I love me a dragon, man. You know me. Um, just I had some decorative paper and then just doodled environments again, but straight up in pen. Uh, Riley and Alton. I recently made the artwork for Riley in the character archive, and you will see that later because I do have it in the new sketchbook for the recent one. More Owen. This is lore that has to do with trees for that story. I have a whole thing about trees. They're called witches, and they appear that like that. I'm probably gonna have to like censor this a little bit or like blur some parts of it. But yeah, they grow out of people. This is a funky thing that I did. I put tape down, and then I painted like I do normally when I do environments with like paint pens. And then when I was done, I ripped up the tape, and then I filled in the blank spots with just like doodling in pen. I kind of want to do this again, but I'm thinking about maybe not like filling in the white parts and just leaving them blank because it was kind of cool effect. my rangers. I was just kind of figuring out their designs at the time, but yeah, Riley has a like proper redesign, quote unquote, now. I'm gonna do the rest of them eventually as well. And then their eyes. Alton canonically has the prettiest eyes out of all of the rangers. That is canon to the lore. Because we said so. We had a TV studio course, so we had to learn how to use like a multi-camera setup and do like TV news. And I was B sound one day, so the only thing we really do is B sound is you put the mics on the people and then you kind of just sit there. So I was doodling my classmates between shoots. It was just a bunch of my classmates, and then one of the camera setups, because that's what the camera is like with the monitor on it. And I drew Venom Snake. I've never been able to draw Venom Snake, and he's my favorite snake in Metal Gear. I've drawn Naked Snake before, but I've never drawn Venom Snake. I don't really like it that much. I need to get better at drawing Snake. This was, I took inspiration from, old slashers, I Know What You Did Last Summer, Friday the 13th, that kind of stuff to create a little trio based on a dream that I had, as often happens, where it starts off as a typical slasher, but then it turns out that the murderer, like the one who was killed, because, it's the classic, somebody was killed, he's a jock that was, like, part of it, a prank gone wrong, I Know What You Did Last Summer type beat. But then turns out that they are trapped at this summer camp. So there's like this there's a cult there that is the reason why he's alive again after having died. And now they are trapped at the summer camp. Like, they can't leave the forest. Every single time they try to leave the forest, they just end up at the summer camp again. And now they have to work together as a trio to try and beat this cult instead. I don't know if I'm gonna do anything with it, but it would be very fun to do, and I kind of want to keep on working with these characters because I love slasher type stuff, but I want to make it a bit different, a bit more my beat. More environment. I tried to draw a guy, didn't like it, his face is covered. I just wrote down notes about different things that the moon does, and I drew these eyes, and this is kind of where now I have a character named Sasha that's gonna appear and I keep referring to that other sketchbook. But yeah, so that concept's gonna keep on going. Kept on trying. You can see that I lost touch with reality for a little bit, and that's it. I whenever I have pages over, I rip out the rest of I keep the pages so I can use them later on if I need extra paper, but this way it doesn't take up as much space in my bookcase where I keep all my sketchbooks. And then that was the end of last year. Now the beginning of this year, January. That's it. I made a video with my Pookie, my bestie Max, about decorating the sketchbook. To me, it's the best video that I've ever made because I've looked back at it a few times and it makes me I lose it laughing every single time. I find it fucking hilarious. So, you know how it is. Once again, we start with Riley. My baby boy, my babiest of boys, and they're rangers. They're not Power Rangers, right? They started off as Power Ranger OCs. Now they are the Draco Knights, so they are definitely like a Super Sentai Power Ranger style story, but it's not Power Rangers because I'm not gonna get a copyright strike because I wrote a story about Rangers. They're not Rangers, they're Knights. And they turn into dragons. You're gonna learn a lot more about them in the characters episodes in the character archive, alright? But yeah, Riley's dragon form is like my favorite. It's the only one that I have like fully realized. I sketched out the others' dragon forms, and then I colored them digitally, and I printed them out just so that I could see them in the sketchbook. they need reworking. They really do. Because you're gonna see it later, I did a whole new illustration of even Riley's dragon form. That's a bit more improved. I love it. I love him. But yeah, and then horse. If you watched my sketchbook tour on the Fuck It sketchbook, the January 2024, so it's a sketchbook from a year ago. I created a character named Nikolai. He's gonna appear in this one. And he was kind of inspired by that trend of like Milo Pony infection AUs. And yeah. So that was something. So I started drawing horses, basically. This is from the Woomer sponsored video. If you've seen that. The colored pencils. I've used them a lot more now, and I love these colored pencils. I do think that they're great. So I would suggest going buying them because they're not that expensive, and they work really well. And I'm not even saying that because they sponsored me. I genuinely do like these colored pencils a lot. More environment. There's Riley in his ranger suit. The ranger suit has changed now, though. I should have. On the screen. But yeah, and then we got Alton in his ranger suit. And I wanted to... Alton is, very big guy. That's Alton, again. But I thought it would be interesting if his weapon was a bow and arrow instead of... You'd expect him to have, like, a great sword or an axe or something. But I was like, what if it's a bow? So yeah. And then we got Ellis in one of the void creatures because he messes around with monsters. He's not human, technically. Also Ellis, he gets shot in the head for lore reasons. Yeah. That's just his torso that I want to figure out because he has like an autopsy, or it's a vivisection, technically. Cool little sword thing that I did. I kinda wanna do this again, but properly, because that was pretty cool. Self-portrait. Groceries. More environments. I like painting environments, if you couldn't tell. Owen, again. And an IKEA man. Not sure why about that one. Warwick. I had another drawing of Warwick that was under this that I preferred, but then I tried coloring it and I fucked it up. So I redrew him still, big honkas. And me. He is wearing clothes, you just can't really see it because they're sketched with a lighter pencil. I'm gonna censor that. He ponders his orb. His orb being a black hole. Dragons, always dragons. Colton. Everybody's favorite, Colton. Colton just got more groceries. I buy groceries, okay? Chatame. And then drew my classmate again, and whatever this is. Sometimes you just gotta draw like a toddler. Alright, sometimes you just gotta do it. It makes me nice. It makes me happy. What? Sorry. Who am I? And yeah, something that I started and then never finished. The neck anatomy is weird. Oh, I skipped a bunch. Just Colton scribbling. And then, yeah, this is when I was trying to figure out Sasha, and he looks so different now because I wasn't sure what I wanted. I can see the parts of this kind of carried over, but not... The traumatic brain injury definitely did. Yeah. I'm fine mentally. I was just bored and I was watching video essays, so... Yeah. You can see I did the same thing here with the cutting out the pages thing. At first, I was thinking about taking the pages out and gluing them in here, because then it would have been really January to April. But then Max said, but we decorated the cover together, and I'm like, yeah, and I want to keep it, but yeah, I kept it. For my Pookie. And then we are onto the big one. If completed. It has, like, 5 or something pages left that I haven't done, but I'm finally free, and this is like my magnet. This is the best sketchbook that I've probably ever done. I popped off on this one. I really did. Once again, character sheet. I feel like I've leveled up. I leveled up with this sketchbook. So yeah, this is where it started. This is first page, and I saw this, like, somebody did this kind of thing, but with a bunch of different materials, but all I had on hand at the time was paper, so I colored the paper in different colors, and then, like, with this one I scribbled circles, and that one I did lines, and then I cut out these things, and it's like the inside of my bones, and I glued it, so when you touch it, there's texture to it, because, you know, it's not completely flat. There's 3 layers of paper on here, and I like it a lot. Then I tried drawing, like, all of my main characters from their various stories. Wasn't really happy with it, so for a very long time, this was just, like, stuck together. I taped it down here, so you couldn't actually see this, but then I was like, no, I'm gonna uncover it for the people. Then, this, I was at, Fotografiska in Stockholm. They had an exhibition about space photography, and about space in general, and they had this thing where you could take a picture of yourself, so I did. And then we got because I like that. I've really enjoyed drawing explosions lately. One of my favorite clips from corn-fed pig. And then when in doubt, draw big hairy chests. I don't know, that's an angel, which is a thing that has to do with Sasha that I've mentioned a lot, which is a story called Eden. It's a whole thing. Character archive. It'll appear sooner or later. That's Nikolai right there. But Nikolai, he's in like a zombie apocalypse type thing, and he is immune to the virus. But I did ever, like, what if he wasn't immune? And he normally has like a barcode at the back of his neck because he used to be a test subject for a company. But instead of the barcode, I was like, what if the bite mark is there? Because, you know, funky shit. The pattern continues, as you can tell, and yeah, I wanted colors, shapes and colors. That was my only reasoning for this spread. And then, once again, Alton, the prettiest eyes out of the knights. He is so sexy. There's nothing to see here, but the pattern persists. And water, apparently. Because I saw one of those videos, like, how to draw water easily, and I was like, I want to try that, so I did. I can't. There we go. Void creatures, the pattern. But yeah, void creatures again, because I love them. They're so cool. This one reminded me of when I first started doodling it. Like, even before I colored it, I was like, oh, this sketch kind of reminds me of the King in Yellow. And then I made it yellow, and I was like, damn, King in Yellow. If you don't know King in Yellow, highly recommend you read the stories. And I know that Wendigoon posted a video. I watched it recently, his new video about the King in Yellow and how it kind of has had its effect on modern media. And it was really cool, and I like it a lot. And I like the King in Yellow in general. It's a very intriguing literary device. And, you know, the concept of it all. I like it a lot. Picasso. Yeah. And then more Ellis, obviously. There was a while ago I drew Ellis as a werewolf. That's probably in a previous sketchbook tour. And I wanted to bring it back because I thought it would be funny. But this is my favorite Ellis drawing. This one is my favorite. I think he turned out very handsome in that one. He got horsed again. Horse Ellis. It happens. Another one of the void creatures. I started, like, rendering this one. This is all water-based markers, by the way. It is the Faber-Castell markers. They are my absolute favorite markers, and I will always advocate for using those markers. Faber-Castell, if you want to sponsor me, please. But yeah. Ellis and a void creature, because there's a whole thing. He has a human boyfriend called Seamus, who is his boss technically because he is a mechanic at a space station. More about this on his character archive video, of course. But there's also a void creature that he gets into stuff with. But yeah, I started rendering this one, and then I didn't feel like finishing it, so I just scribbled in the rest of it with just a fine liner. I do still really like it, especially this arm, especially. I like a lot, because somehow I managed to get shape and form into this arm, and I didn't manage to get it anywhere else. But I really like it there. So... And this is Sasha that I keep talking about. So it started with me drawing this dragon guy. And I was like, I really like that hair. So I took the hair and then I expanded on it. And this was the original sketch that I made. And I tried to... The reason why it's glued in here is that's the colored version. And I tried to color it in the sketchbook. But I didn't like the coloring that I did in the sketchbook. But thankfully, I'd taken a picture of it. So... I could just, stick in the printed versions of both the coloring and the base sketch. So that's what I did. But, yeah. This is Sasha. He's from Eden, and he's from the lowest parts of the city where all the poor people live. He has poor boy Riz. And he is missing an arm because he got caught he used to be a miner, so he got caught in a mine shaft collapse, trying to save somebody, and that ended up with him losing his arm and getting a traumatic brain injury, and now he hears voices. He has little, blackouts, and kind of, at times he just kind of disassociates and disappears into his own mind, listening to the voices. I like him a lot. I really like him a lot. So I drew, this is another instance of me. I did a sketch, and I started, I erased it a little bit so that I could do line art and, color it, but then I was like, no, I don't want to ruin it, so I did it digitally again. So once again, Sasha, his name is Alexander, but the Russian nickname for Sasha, or for Alexander, is Sasha, and I always wanted to have a character named Sasha because I like kind of the contradictory of having a very masculine character, but having them have a more feminine name. Yeah, he has this big old braid, right? So you're gonna be, how is that masculine? He is masculine. And that's his best friend / partner, Dimitri, or Dima. And he is leading the Reeve Resistance, who they're trying to get up to the top of Eden. And Eden is this giant tree. It's a big tree that is also a city, and they're trying to get up there to stop the regime from destroying their lives more, because they are not living great. This was an animatic thing that I had in mind. Never did it, but I doodled it. Sasha and Dima again. Raul. If you ever considered if a fish could have a receding hairline, the answer is yes. Yeah, there's this really cool drawing of soap. I'm gonna see if I can find the artist. But they did a drawing of soap from Call of Duty, and I like that drawing so very much. And I want to do something similar, but with Ellis, because he also gets shot in the head. And I did this. It doesn't look as good. I don't think I could probably have done this better if I was on my ADHD medication while I did it, but I wasn't. But I do still like it. But that original drawing is so fucking cool. Follow that artist. And of course dragons, because when do I not? Yes. Love Ice. Love 'em. The pattern persists. Oh yeah, I took a second photo at that space exhibition, and then I drew this on top, which is the reason why my Sona looks the way that he does, because it's just me and my hoodie, and then that drawn on top, because when I drew it here, I was like, huh, that kind of fucks. This spread, by the way, is chaos, because you have Sasha promiscuously. I went to the movies with my friends because it was when my Mickey 17 came out. I really like that movie a lot. One of my favorite movies is Snowpiercer, and it's the same director, so I knew that I was gonna like it. But I like it a lot, and Robert Pattinson has such range. After the movie, we talked about the political aspects of the movie and like the different things that they portray and give nods to within the movie. And one of my classmates that I'd gone there with went, "Oh, that's what you took from the movie? I just read As We All Want to Sleep with 2 Robert Pattinsons." But yeah, and then we just have lobster. Because I love fish, I love lobster. I don't like eating lobster, but I like them visually. Not because I feel bad for them. I love shrimp. I just don't like the texture. Then more Sasha. Sasha got horsed. The picnic table. The voices. And then yeah, this is what happens to Sasha, to his arm when it gets ripped off. I started doodling a bunch of like patterns on just a hand. I was like, that would be cool to have Sasha have. And then I drew his arm getting ripped off. And then Skate Wizard made his triumphant return. Everybody loves Skate Wizard, obviously. I don't know, man. More Sasha. I don't question it. Okay. And then I stream like every single day on TikTok, and we were talking about cowboys, and I was listening to the song, a song started playing, which was Mr. Cool by Snook. It's a Swedish song, and for some reason that song makes me think of cowboys. I don't know why, because it has nothing. I think it's because I saw the song with an Arthur Morgan in it once, and the stream viewers were like, you should make cowboy OCs, and I was like, I already have too many OCs, and I'm already making more OCs than I need. But then we ended up making Woomer and Tiger, and this is also kind of based off a dream I had, because when isn't it based off of a dream that I had? But I had a dream where like a cowboy, what's it called? Bounty hunter, cowboy bounty hunter, that kind of looked like Wolfwood from Trigun, at least it did in the dream, was hunting down this dragon guy, and the dragon people were probably an allegory for Native Americans in my dream. I don't know. But he was hunting him down, but then something happened that forced them to work together, and they became allies instead. So I kind of took that concept for my cowboys. Maybe this town really is big enough for the two of us. And then that's Tiger's dragon form, because he is a dragon. Also, I decided that all the dragons in this specific world are named after different kinds of rocks and crystals. So his name is Tiger, Taiger, which because he's a tiger's eye. But I didn't want to name him just Tiger straight up, so I made it weird. But yeah, Tiger and Woomer. I like him a lot, but I've only drawn them once. And then some eldritch horrors. There are also some gods that I have in my universe, in the Valorverse. My cat took one of my pens and like drew in my sketchbook, so I kept it. Also, Jeffret. And then everybody's favorite woman out from the sketchbook, except for maybe Karen, Gabriel. Gabriel is also in Eden. She lives at the top of the tree. The top of the tree is called Alum, and she is the one who creates the angels, which is a whole lore thing. And she is like a high priestess, because there's a lot of religious imagery. But yeah, she is super cool, and everybody loves her, and this is her ex-girlfriend, Haley, who is an old friend of Sasha and Dima's, but she is a priestess in their part of the city called Reeve, so she's a priestess there, and she became a priestess because they used to be dating, and they're still kind of in love, but because she is the only one who ever managed to come, like, nobody from any lower part than Alum can ever ascend to Alum, but she managed to do it, and she still kind of misses her, and they're still kind of in love, but they also refuse it because now they're kind of enemies, and she joined to become a high priestess to infiltrate the church for the resistance. Yeah, lore. And then, yeah, I drew What If Sasha got his arm back, and once again, the original sketch is here, and then I did a whole, like, this was a detail, I rendered that bitch. And then this was March 14th, as you can see, because it was the night of the lunar eclipse, but unfortunately, because I live in Sweden, I couldn't see it, and that makes me kind of sad. Yeah. Oh. This is something that I, like, redraw every single year. Like, bam, bam, bam. So I redrew it again, and I like it a lot. I did watercolor for the base layer, for the gradient, and then everything on top is Faber-Castell markers. Werewolf, the pattern. There's Nikolai again. He's a soldier. He has blackouts. Because he has amnesia, where he will cannibalism. And that's his boyfriends, Amir, who is everybody's favorite boy, and Johan, who is German. And so Nikolai is Scottish and Russian, and my friend Max, who is Polish, he loves Amir so much, and he has said to me a lot of times, this is just proof that the Russians and the Germans keep taking everything from us, and it's just because Amir isn't single. And I think because he loves him so much, I think that's really funny. Yeah, this was also the Woomer pencils. I did an environment with them, which I've never done environment with colored pencils before, but I like it a lot. I think it turned out great. And then we have Colton and Arthur. I got a bike now, which I'm very happy about because I need it for school. There's Karen, everybody's favorite, Ellis. So this is Seamus, Ellis's boyfriend. And Seamus used to be married to Karen, but then they got divorced, and they may or may not have a child together. And at first, Karen kind of resents him, but then they talk through their differences and the reason why Seamus decided to divorce her, because he found out that he didn't want her to be trapped in a marriage where he couldn't give her the love that she needed. He still cares for her platonically, but he wasn't able to give her the kind of love that she deserves and she was craving, being, you know, loved for real, because he found out that he was more attracted to men. And once they kind of talk that through and she understands it, because she is kind of an aristocrat, she ends up helping out the crew, because they're all kind of like the spaceship that they work on. The captain there is Seamus's old friend from the war, and she kind of just picks up strays that don't really have anywhere else to go. So they, you know, all of them are very low in society in this intergalactic space empire. But since Karen has a very high standing, she's able to help them and give them information when things are happening that might not be completely okay. Nikolai again. Ellis's eyes, because they're cool, and he has cool hair. He's just so cool. And yeah, so that's Seamus's old friend. That's Natalia, but that's when she was young. That was when she, right out of the war, and when she first became captain of the ship, the Vanguard. But that's her. And then environment and pen, another werewolf. I like werewolves. And eye, because that's Sasha's eye again. I had another drawing. Yeah, that's also Sasha's eye, or the TBI. Haha. Funny, I know. Oh, we almost skipped Werewolf Jesus. This is Werewolf Jesus, aka Lucian. That's it. Werewolf Jesus. That's environment is straight up marker, and then dragons, because I love dragons. Dima, shirtless. The pattern persists. I just glue it down. When I don't know what to fill pages with, you can tell that I do a lot of collage now, and I put like these kinds of drawings down, and then different papers and stuff that I find. At one night, I didn't have any food, and then I just had to document it. more werewolf Jesus trying to figure out his body and like where he has fur and where he doesn't in human form, and then his werewolf form. And I learned how to draw tigers out of spite because there is what I've realized is that there are no good tiger furries. I am not a furry, but I feel I'm digging myself a hole. A lot of tiger furries don't look like tigers. They look like cats with tiger patterns, but they don't actually look like tigers. I found one tiger furry that actually looks like a tiger like a few days ago. Um, but a lot of tiger furries don't actually look like tigers, and tigers are my favorite animals. And furries are so talented. Like they are so good at art and at crafting and the skills that they have to make their suits, but why can't they make a tiger? So I figured out how to draw tigers out of spite. And the other, of course, try to figure out a rauna that I want to make. I'm thinking of knitting this. We'll see. And then dragon, because of course. This is the tree that was earlier that was growing out of a guy. This is what that tree eventually turns into. A witch. Yeah, and then I drew Sasha, but as if he was a tiger in the same style of Lucian being a werewolf. I made Sasha a tiger in that kind of same way with like the anatomy and the fur where it is and stuff like that. And this thing here, you can actually fold up like that. I could have drawn something here or hidden something, but I didn't. Um, but yeah, it's just a little foldy thing that I learned how to do. Now I need to figure out how to close it again. Because I forgot. There we go. Oh, come on, get in there. There we go. Yeah. So that's a thing. Oh, yeah, and then here we go. Redesigned Colton. And if you look at the character archive video, you can see his full new design. And then this is the illustration that I made for Arthur, which will be the next episode of the character archive. And then I listed up a bunch of my characters and then what songs I associate them with. Um, and then I had art block. I also went to uh the Lord of the Rings like orchestra in Stockholm that was at the end of March. I got that as um a Christmas present from my dad. So we went there together. Our Christmas gift. Uh, yeah. And then I just doodled a bunch of stuff. Of course, dragons, Sasha, a young Seamus. And then I went to Charlie and the Chocolate Factory with my mom, like a week later. Because I also got that as a Christmas gift. For my parents give me like experiences as Christmas gifts, which I like a lot. This was also when I really wanted to end this sketchbook. That's why the voices. And then I did, this is Nikolai back when he was still at the facility, or Paradox as it's called. And this is him when he was probably like maybe 18 or so, uh, before he got his amnesia. But you can see like he has a surgery scar on the side of his head and down his spine. But he was very lonely in the facility. So you know that picture of like a baby deer cuddling up next to a target practice deer? I looked at that and I was like, can I make this worse? And I was thinking that because Nikolai is so lonely, he would cuddle with one of the practice dummies in his room for any sense of human connection, because he never got to touch people, and he was very sad about it. And then there's David. Don't you just love the duality of man? Uh, Artyom, Steve, and then Artyom got horsed. And I saw this hairstyle on Pinterest, and I was like, that's kind of cool. I don't think I did it justice really with this drawing, but I just wanted to kind of doodle it out. And then I just did scrapbooking, because when in doubt, scrapbook. Am I right or am I right, fellas? Um, Colton, generally imposing guy. I made pony OCs. I caved. Like I kind of had solar flare for a while, but I just kind of did it. So now I will be forced to make a character archive entry about my ponies. It's not, they're not really a second gen, they kind of are, but they exist in a parallel universe compared to like the main ones. So there are characters from uh the like, you know, Twilight and shit that show up, but they aren't the main characters, and the world doesn't function the way that it does in canon. So I'm not a My Little Pony fan, by the way. I just know things. Um, so in this world, uh, like it's kind of like, you know, Daybreaker and Nightmare Moon having their like showdown, but instead of Nightmare Moon being formed, it is Daybreaker, and Equestria is split up into two different kingdoms. One is the Kingdom of Night, one is the Kingdom of Day, and the Kingdom of Day is like the evil one, with Celestia or Daybreaker being evil, and Luna is the good guy because Luna is my favorite. And in this world, Sunset Shimmer also decided to stay, and she is Celestia's right hoof woman? I don't know. Right hoof horse? But she's still Celestia's student, and then she got pregnant with just some random guard number 17. And she had a child, and she was like, I don't want this child to grow up in the horrible kingdom that this is. So she left him in the Shadowlands, or the Twilight Lands, which is like the space between day and night. So it's just a constant state of twilight. Where he was found by Luna, aka, and that's Solar Flare. So Solar Flare was found by Luna, and she adopted him, and she already has a biological child, which is Crescent Silver, and they grow up as siblings. And then they will go on a quest to try and beat Daybreaker with whoever their friends will be. One of their friends is a pony named Cookie Cutter, because Solar Flare is a soldier, and his superior's name is Cookie Cutter, not because he's into baking, but because he's really good at slicing shit with swords. And we thought that would be a funny name. But yeah, I drew them again. Yeah. Colton and Arthur, my beloveds. Yu-Gi-Oh card, I don't know. I don't like this. I like this. I like this part, right? I really like this drawing of Ellis. Not as much this, but I do like the idea of him wearing a backwards cap when he's working on stuff on the ship. Then we made kind of like a... Excuse you? Pacific Rim is my favorite movie, and I have this planet called Proxima, and on Proxima there are a species called Praxim, and they have special abilities. And I was like, what if they also had mechas? And me and Max watched The Tiger's Apprentice, and I fucking loved who. Of course I did, so I wanted to make my own Tiger Man, so we made Hojin. And then we made these two twins, Ren and Tashi, and they are now pilots because I love planes and mechas and stuff. Who knows, maybe I'll work more on that. Dima being beautiful. I love this orange. Love that. Me and Max went to see the Minecraft movie because he came here to visit. So we went to see the Minecraft movie, which was great. I drew an eye. The boom. And then I just did a bunch of different environments in just straight up pen because that's fun. And I did Castor again and another orange. This is from a shirt that I got from my mom. And there's Ellis's new design. Do you see how handsome he is? How pretty he is? I love him. Get shot in the head for lore reasons. Nikolai being cannibalistic again. And then Dima. I had to think. Dangerous things. I drew Kane again because it's been so long since I drew Kane, and he's my favorite Spider-Man character. This was when I really figured out how much I love drawing explosions. Another dragon, because of course when in doubt, dragons. Sasha. And then this was an old character that I had back before, like, the original draft of Nikolai. And we decided to bring him back. I also decided to bring back some other characters, like, just yesterday, that were also in the original draft of Paradox, to expand on the lore a little bit. You can really see that, like, the art block is hitting with this spread, I fear. This was stuff that I did during class. So these are different. That's what Proxima looks like, kind of. And Proxima has two suns. Valor is very, like, fantasy. And then there's another planet called Honor that Ellis gets trapped on at one point, and he starts eating himself for lore reasons. But yeah, just some, like, various doodles and drawings. There's straight up. I had one of those pens that have, like, 4 different colors, and we were talking about sound design in movies in class, so I just started doodling. This was Frostpunk. Oh yeah, I started working on a new Frostpunk OC called Fuelon. And he is severely scarred. He's kind of fucked up because I imagine him being from Winterhome, and you know, in the game when you play the campaign, or like the main A New Home, when you get your scouts get going, one of the first things you do is that you find survivors of Winterhome whose reactor blew up. And I was like, what if he was from Winterhome, and what if he was there when it blew up? And that's what caused the scarring. And then, because, you know, I love folklore, we decided to bring folklore into it. So the idea is should he have survived that? No way in hell. There's more of him. But the reason he did is because the Morrigan, who is a pagan deity from Irish folklore, chose him as her kind of champion. So he has, Fuelon means little wolf in Scottish Gaelic. And he, like, in nature, wolves and crows and ravens kind of have symbiotic relationships, where the crows or ravens show the way towards where prey is, and then the wolf hunts, and then the bird gets to feast on the food with the wolves, so they work together. And I was like, that's kind of neat if the Morrigan, you know, is his mentor, so she is the crow and he is the wolf. So I thought that was nice. And he would come to New London and become a hunter and scout for the city. So yeah. And he obviously has trauma about explosions and fire, so of course I gave him fire powers, and I draw explosions around him because it's funny. More dragons and pervert. This is my favorite spread in this entire sketchbook, and it's just this. This is my favorite one. I love it. It's great. So good. Once again, when in doubt, scrapbook and draw dragons. Because when do I not do that? That's Alma. She's in the same world as Colton and Arthur. She's one of the characters from that. And this is from her illustrations that I did for the character archive. And I just decided to glue her in there because I could. And I did more grocery shopping. This was done yesterday. We're getting to the end. I did start drawing this wolf lady from a dream that I had, but I never finished it because I couldn't figure out what colors I wanted her to have. So she just exists in a state of unfinishedness. And here is Riley. Finally we get to Riley's redesign.
There he is. That's what he looks like now. This is his dragon form. I love it. I love his dragon form so much. I think it's so cool. I love the red. He's the red knight, the red ranger, if you will. But with all of the knights, I give them like they have complementary colors in their color scheme. So of course he has some blue because it's complementary and whatnot. But yeah, and then this is a character from the old draft of Paradox before it is what I made it now. Yeah, and I decided to bring him back to fill out the cast and give Nikolai, like he's gonna help with Nikolai regaining his memories. And that's the entire sketchbook. This is all that I had left, but I'm not gonna finish it. I'm gonna start a new sketchbook because I want to. I'm gonna make a video on starting the new sketchbook because I want to rave about this sketchbook brand for half an hour or something. This is the sketchbook that I use, Leuchtturm. Favorite fucking sketchbook of all time. I love these sketchbooks so much. I've been using them for like 12 years. So I'm gonna talk more about that in the new sketchbook video. I decided to braid the like, because they give you 2 like markers in these ones, and I was like, what if I braided it with a piece of embroidery thread? And I like it a lot, so I'm gonna keep doing that. I put a little charm on it. But yeah, that's the sketchbook. Some of the stickers, as you can see, have disintegrated because I've been using it for like 3 months. But I like this sketchbook a lot. I think it turned out great, and I had a lot of fun using it. I'm really excited to start a new one to have some new vibes on the cover because I love decorating sketchbooks. It's my favorite fucking thing. But yeah, that's it. We did something, didn't we? So this is a very long video. It's gonna be almost an hour. Hope that's all right. Oh, sorry. I was just grabbing my water bottle. I have some lemon water here. Who doesn't love a bit of lemon water? Either way, thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed the sketchbook tour. I know a lot of people have been asking for another sketchbook tour, but they take time because I have to actually finish a sketchbook before I can make one. But yeah, thank you for being here. Have a good day, have a good night, where time is a good time. And until next time, have goodbye time.